I always thought I knew every inch of our tiny Cedar Hollow, like the back of my beat-up sneakers. Every pine, every dip in the earth, every trail behind the trailer park where we lived in rural Oregon. That damp November afternoon, I was headed back there again. Dad had sent me out to check for downed branches after the overnight storm. Rain tapped gently on my hood. Needles squished under my boots. Then something caught the light at the roots of an upturned pine. A book. Thick, leather-bound, untitled. The cover was warm to the touch, almost alive. I opened it right there, under the drizzle. On the first pages, in neat handwriting, "My name is Nick P. I'm 12. Today, November 12th, I ate peanut butter straight from the jar, ripped my new jacket on a fence, and got a C- in algebra." Then, blank white space. I chuckled. That same day, I'd finished off our peanut butter, torn my sleeve on barbed wire, and got a C- in math. Coincidences happen, Dad would have said. I stuffed the book in my backpack and headed home. Next morning, first thing, I opened the book again. The once blank pages now held new lines. November 13th. I missed the bus, but got a butter bar from the snack stand because I said the password of the day, moon. After school, Mr. Lavin's pickup splashed me. I smirked. But then, everything happened, word for word. I leapt onto the bus at the last second, shouted, "Moon!" at the snaggle-toothed lunch lady. She beamed and handed me a candy bar. Later, our neighbor's muddy F-150 drenched me in cold gutter water. By nightfall, I was shivering more from fear than the chill. The book knew tomorrow. I barely slept. At dawn, I opened the tome again. Now it said, November 14th, and listed details. What Mr. Pearson would ask in civics class, how the ball would bounce during PE, which song would play on the bus radio. I memorized it all and strolled through school like a video game hacker. I answered without thinking. Caught the ball before it bounced, sang 2 beats ahead of everyone else. My classmates stared, but I didn't care. I could see 24 hours into the future. That night, I flipped forward again and stopped cold. A single paragraph had been freshly written across the next spread, the ink still bold. On November 17th, the boy holding this book won't come home. He'll be found at 5:48 p.m. by the North Quarry. I reread it, hoping it would fade, but it didn't. 2 days left. Plan 1. Destroy the curse. We had an old wood stove in the shed. I stoked it hot, sparks jumping up the chimney. I threw the book in. It blackened for a second, then shot back out like a rubber ball, landing at my feet with a whiff of burning leather. Not even singed. Plan 2. Hide it. The next morning I locked it in my school locker beneath a stack of notebooks, snapped a padlock shut, and tried to forget. But on the walk home, I felt the weight in my jacket pocket. The book was back, damp, like it had walked through Antway. Sarchinor Sun, walked through the rain beside me. Plan 3. Run. The North Quarry was 4 miles out. I'd just stay away. I convinced Mom I was sleeping over at a friend's house in town. On the evening of the 15th, I opened the book and saw a new faint gray line in the margin. The road may change, but the quarry comes to you. Sleepless again. I flipped to the last pages. Blank, but numbered in tiny print at the bottom. 02, 03. As if volume 001 ended with my death. The rest would come later. I thought of the fallen pine. Maybe there were answers there. Morning of the 16th, the wind slapped my face. I returned to the upturned roots, to my sentence. The ground was torn up, by animals, maybe people, and in the loose dirt, I found a second book. Thinner, smaller, embossed with Psalm 1s. Inside, a mirror-sharp razor blade and one line scratched with a rusty nail. Write in blood, and the cycle resets. I stood there, frozen by rain and dread. The blade reflected my face. Upside down, framed by pine trunks. November 17th. The world held its breath as the clock neared 5:30. I locked myself in my room, laid both books and the knife on my desk. In 01, one page remained, 2 sentences. I'm standing at the edge of the North Quarry. 5:48 p.m. The stone gives way beneath my feet. 5:30. The vent rattled with wind. I exhaled, slit my palm, and let a thin red line fall on the blank first page of Anbuazero. The drops bloomed, forming one word, start. Whitespace waited. I grabbed a pen, fingers trembling, and wrote. On November 17th, the boy who found the books comes home unharmed and locks them in a safe so no one ever reads these pages again. The words pulsed, faded into the page. I glanced at Arawaos 1. Its final lines shimmered and changed. I returned from Cedar Hollow. 5:48 p.m. Mom's in the doorway with a mug of cocoa. Right then, I heard Dad's pickup pull into the drive. The door slammed. Mom called up to me. 5:49. I was alive, home, in my room. After that, everything was simple. I found an old aluminum toolbox, stuffed both books and the knife inside, put on a welding mask, and sealed the lid shut with a crackling arc of heat. The metal shone with a rainbow edge. I buried it deep beneath bags of cement in our garage. The story was done. A month passed. Frost coated the ground, though snow hadn't come yet. On December 21st, I woke to a soft clink, like shifting metal under the floor. Probably just the pipes adjusting to the cold, I told myself. It was over. But 100 miles away, a girl named Annie M. walked along a dried-up creek bed. She spotted a root jutting from the embankment, and something gleamed between the branches. Annie pulled out a leather book, marked with the number 02. She flipped through its white pages, which smelled like dew and secrets. I, of course, knew nothing of this. Only that later that day, while helping Dad in the garage, I heard something. The faint sound of a page turning, beneath the bags of cement. The end? Honestly, I'm not sure. If you made it all the way to the end, then you're exactly the kind of person I'm looking for. Hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. I hope I can keep bringing you more stories, to make you smile, or maybe, to scare you.